So today I tried to get my e-brake to work again on Forza Motorsport. For whatever reason, it has decided to not to. I even went into advanced controls to just try and invert the axis on there because that's an option on some other games I've been playing around with. Unfortunately, it just has not been going my way. It is what it is. Later in the video, I jump into some online lobbies. I get a little overconfident, just to, see where I'm at on in taking some corners. And I mean, I didn't do so bad on this track. There was a lot to be desired. Don't get me wrong. I still suck really, really bad. And every day I'm getting better every time I put more time into it. Later on in the video, I work on some throttle control and just trying to hold it to where I'm making a consistent drift. And so I hope you guys enjoy me failing miserably this entire time. And yeah, I'll talk a little bit more in the video about what I'm trying to work on and things I'm struggling with and what I'm trying to improve on. Alright, so we just jumped into this online lobby. Immediately I'm super nervous because there is way more people in here than what I'm used to. And maybe that's not true, I'm just not used to them being right there, but there's this little corner here at East Toge where there's just a little circle in it, and I start working on my throttle control here, and I never really get kind of where I need to be until a couple of minutes here. And basically what I think is going on, just to give you guys what's going through my head, is I don't think there's enough space here for me to actually practice. I don't have enough reference point, and this is a me thing, this is not a overall thing. I don't have enough reference points to just hold a drift around a particular object or thing. I just adjusted the camera here because I'm still so new that I like to see what the car is doing so I can make sure I'm actually holding the drift that I'm trying to. I'm not really going for any particular angle right now other than holding a particular angle. But yeah, that's what I'm doing right here. All right, I was feeling pretty confident here. I held a semblance of a drift, and I don't know why I went through here. I'm still getting used to some of the maps on CarX. I primarily, when I started playing racing games a long time ago, mostly just did racing, and I still do that here and there, but it's just not what I'm having fun with right now. This is what I'm really passionate about, is just drifting right now. You know, it's just something that I don't want to say mastered on controller, but I am very, very confident at the very least to be able to do tandems, among other things. And on a wheel now that I have it, it's just a completely different ball game. And I have to relearn the basics. I have to relearn throttle control. I have to relearn brake control. I have to relearn what the car is going to do. I have to retrain my body to actually perform these movements, to actually do them successful. And yeah, that's what's going through my mind right now, is I'm just running through the basics and failing miserably. But later on in the video, I go to Kami Road, and I will talk to you guys again there. I literally jumped into this particular map because I was like, oh, I don't think I remember downloading this, but apparently I did, so here we are. And I am immediately like, what in the world is this? There's this weird curve thing. It's called Red Rock, and I am mostly just dipping in here to see like what it is. It looks like to be like a small town. Red Rock sounds like a city now that it's like coming through my mind, but like I don't travel much, so you guys will have to forgive my ignorance. But it looks like a little interesting map that somebody kind of just threw together, and watch it be some crazy secretive like spot that everybody knows about. I get super stuck here, and I was like, what's going on? And so the reason I'm stuck here so long is like I moved my actual setup away from my desk to more of the corner, so I don't have to lug it around everywhere. Because if you have a wheel and it is on a stand and stuff, you kind of know the struggle of having to move it around everywhere. And so if you just got one or you're getting one and you're waiting for it on order, I recommend having a designated place for it, because unless you have it on wheels or anything, and even if you do, if you don't have it on wheels, it's really annoying. And I can only imagine, even on wheels, you still have to worry about your wires and your cable management going like from the wheelbase to the mount to your PC or your game hub or your console, so on and so forth. But I thought this map was pretty cool. The graphics are to be desired. I mean, not the graphics, but like the texture for like these rocks, you can see are not great. But CarX is, I don't want to call it an indie game because it has a huge player base, but it is kind of thrown together. I mean, this is CarX 1, and on mobile, which I've been playing CarX for many, many years, it is so good. Like, it is incredible. CarX 2 is so much better, and I'm excited for CarX 3 to come out. That's finally been announced by CarX Technologies, so that's pretty exciting because I think they've reworked some of the camera angles. I miserably failed this jump. I'm doing this kind of the following day because I didn't have enough time last night to finish this out. But after this, I was like, you know what? Let's go to the next one. Let's actually focus up here, and yeah, I'll kind of talk about what I'm trying to do here once I actually get to Kami Road and get down at the bottom of the mountain, and I will see you there. So what's really funny about this part right here where I fly off the hill is I was playing this and hanging out in Discord with one of my buddies, and I actually hit a rail, and I was like, oh man, if this game was any more realistic, I probably would have flown off of that. And here we are, stuck like a turtle, flew off the road. Very surprising. And yeah, fun times. Okay, so this is probably going to be my primary practice spot, honestly, just because there's so much room to just fail. And you know, that's how you learn, is you just fail over and over again until you figure out what you're doing wrong. Or at least that's how I learn. I can't speak for everybody, right? Here is, so right now, I'm just trying to hold like a long drift. Like, I'm just trying to find an angle that works and hold it, right? And I'm just working on feathering the throttle, trying to do some clutch dumps or some e-brake initiations. And I hold like a few of them, I think, like right there. Like, that's not terrible, you know. I was pretty excited last night, let me tell you. I was like, oh my god, I'm doing it. But then, you know, too much gas, it happens. But this little pole here in the middle, I actually start to practice just first gear, just making my way around and holding that. I actually get pretty successful at it towards the end, and somebody eventually joins in, so that's actually kind of fun to watch. It's a little yin and yang thing we're doing, which is really, really cool. I tried it a week ago and failed miserably, but I was also driving a car way too fast. If you guys have watched other videos from some people like Goosey or even Slap, I'm sure Slap Train has done some things. They often say, you know, pick a car with an S chassis, right? Which is basically just one of the most reliable and forgiving chassis that you can drive on. And what it means is the car is going to do what you tell it to do, because there's nothing else going on. There's no overcorrecting that some computer inside of the car is going to do for you. There's no crazy tunes that you need. Like, I haven't done a thing to this car. I bought it, it's stock. I haven't done a thing to it in game. It's all just as it is, and it's very, very forgiving. And one of the things I like the most about it is it has a very, very long tire gap, right? Like, the front end to the back end of the tires is pretty long, so even if you do oversteer a little bit, the worst that's going to happen is you're going to spin out a little bit, but even then, if you just throw some e-brake on there, or like the regular brake, you can catch yourself pretty fast, and you can actually save yourself a lot of drifts. And part of learning is also gaining the confidence to keep trying a certain thing, and that's what I think these types of cars really, really help. And once I have a little bit more experience, I will test some more cars and kind of tell you guys what feels good, what doesn't feel good. But like right here, right, like it's not an impressive angle, but it's a speed that I found works for me, and you know, I was able to do it pretty consistently. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys again when I start doing some donuts, if you will. Alright, so I am starting to just work on first gear, and I think that's the mindset I'm going to approach this on from now on. Is I think I'm just going to focus on one gear at a time. I'm going to focus on what can I do in first gear, what can I do in second gear, what can I do in third gear, and so on and so forth, right? And I think that's an important concept to master. At least that's what I'm feeling, is because I feel like once you understand what you can do in each gear, that'll give you a better idea of what you can actually do around certain tracks, right? Or around like certain gaps. Is like once you get the hang of a map, you can kind of determine, it's like, okay, I know about how long this corner is going to be. I know exactly like where I need to give myself some margin for a wide, or like being able to go wide and then turn in, so that way you can do whichever type of drift you're trying to do, whether it's a slow drift through the corner or a slow but fast through like a hairpin corner, if you will, or like if you're doing a super long corner, you can take it really, really fast and wide and stay towards like the outside of the track, right? But anyway, what I'm doing here is I'm basically just finding how much gas I need to get the back end out, and how much I can just feather it and like let the wheel kind of steer itself, if you will, and just kind of go around. And I finally find a little bit of success here in like a minute or two, because it finally clicked. I was just like, oh, okay, I just kind of have to hold it here, and you can hear it in the throttle at some point where I just kind of hold it there, but it's not at the rev limiter like it is right, 10 seconds ago. But what I felt was the most, I guess, rewarding here was I was able to just kind of hold it, and I can, as you can see, I'm kind of spiraling out, but excuse me, I must have drank something, but I can't keep pausing this voiceover and doing it. But you can see is like I kind of am able to like shift gears and work on that angle kind of coming out of the pole, right? So like you start in first gear, you go around it a couple times, then you go in second gear. As your speed increases, your angle increases too, and you can kind of see how far you can get in. But that wasn't my goal, so I decided to stop there and just focus on this. And eventually I go to the other side, and that's a little bit challenging, but I've been doing this for 30 minutes straight, right? So I'm starting to get a little overstimulated, a little worn out, honestly, because it's frustrating when you first start out, right? Because you're just like, oh my god, I'm just failing over and over and over again. How do people do this? But stick to it. If you're like me, you're kind of going through this process, figuring it out, stick with it and watch some videos. Don't develop some bad habits. Some people could argue it's like, oh, you're playing CarX, it's not a real simulation. It's like, you're totally right. But I've been bouncing between this, Forza Motorsport, and Gran Turismo 6, and rotating through them is actually really, really nice, because I feel like you can start with a concept on or at least this is what I've done, right? Is I start with a concept in Gran Turismo 6, and then I go to Forza Horizon, or not Forza Horizon, but Forza Motorsport 7. I boot it up, and you know, play it there and make sure it feels consistent. And then I go into here, and then it allows me to play with it, if you will, right? Because like CarX, from what I understand, is not the most hyper realistic game like Assetto Corsa or Gran Turismo 6, but you can still play with the concepts on your wheel, and it's not that terribly different, right? Like, I'll show you guys some videos like in probably a couple days of like me doing some stuff on Forza, or maybe some stuff on Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo is a little bit harder because my shifter doesn't work, because I'm still on the entry level side of things. But it's very exciting to do, because you can get, like, for this type of game, you can get pretty good pretty quick, right? Because you don't have to do a lot of the tuning, you don't have to do a lot of the modding. It's all pretty much done. Like, even though this car is stock in game, right, I think it's still putting out like 280 horsepower or like 300 horsepower or something ridiculous like that, which is more than enough, let me tell you. But there's a lot of things you can do like later on, and I'll make a full video on tuning and kind of explaining what things do, because I am a car nut and I enjoy talking about these things. But yeah, it's good times, and I really enjoy being able to take things from one game to another and watch it actually apply and stick. So yeah, I'm gonna shut up now and let you guys enjoy the rest of the video and throw on some music, and I'll see you guys next time.